if you looked at my computer right now, you'd probably assume my brain is just completely broken.
Oh, I'm sure it's not that bad.
No, I mean it. My digital notes are a total disaster zone. It's just half-finished thoughts, unsorted links, and folders with names like Disk 2 and To Read eventually.
Right, the classic digital junk drawer.
Exactly. And look, 10 years ago, the only person punished for my messy digital desktop was me. It was a bad habit, sure, but it was a completely private one.
Yeah, nobody else had to see it.
Right. But today, we are actively plugging autonomous AI agents into our digital workspaces, which means my messy notes aren't just a bad habit anymore.
No, they're becoming something else entirely.
They are a chaotic training manual for the AI that is, frankly, about to take over my job.
And that is exactly the invisible threshold we are crossing right now. For decades, our digital environment was really just a passive storage locker for our thoughts.
Yeah, just a place to dump text.
Exactly. But now, it's becoming an active participant. We are looking at a fundamental evolution in digital cognition.
Digital cognition, I like that term.
Yeah, it's about how we structure information, how we recall it, and ultimately how we train machines to just act on it for us.
Well, welcome to the deep dive. We have a genuinely fascinating stack of sources to go through for you today.
We really do. It's quite a journey.
We're tracing a timeline that ranges from software update logs from 14 years ago, all the way to a massive GitHub repository updated exactly today, Tuesday, March 17, 2026.
It's incredible how fast things have moved.
It is. And our mission today is to figure out how we got from typing simple text on a screen to, deploying AI agents that actively manage our lives.
Right, because it's really a timeline of human-computer interaction. We are looking at how our expectations of what a computer should actually do for us have shifted from passive memory to active execution.
Okay, let's unpack this. We're going to trace this rapid evolution by looking at the tools that really define each era.
Starting with the basics.
Right. We'll start with the absolute simplest form of organization, which is the bulleted list. Specifically, we're looking at an app called Workflowy.
Which is a fascinating starting point, honestly, because Workflowy has been around for well over a decade, yet it completely strips away almost everything we associate with modern software.
Yeah, if you watch the recent YouTube breakdown by the channel Savage Reviews, they describe Workflowy as an infinitely zoomable bullet point list.
Infinitely zoomable is the perfect way to put it.
It really is. When you first open it, there's no dashboard, there are no complex menus, no widgets, just a completely blank page and a single bullet point.
The interface is aggressively minimal. I mean, it relies entirely on indentation.
I like to think of it as a digital matryoshka doll. The Russian nesting dolls.
Oh, right, where you just keep opening them up.
Exactly. You open one bullet point and there's another inside, and you just keep opening bullets inside of bullets indefinitely.
So you could have a top-level bullet for, say, vacation.
Right. And inside that is Europe. Inside that is Paris. Inside that is hotels. And the real magic mechanism here is that you can click into just the Paris bullet, and suddenly that single sub-bullet becomes your entire screen.
Like everything else just fades away.
Yep, the rest of the list just disappears.
It creates a real sense of tunnel vision, but in a highly productive way. You only see the context you need at that exact moment.
So rare these days.
It really is. And that prevents the cognitive overload that happens when you look at a massive cluttered dashboard.
But I have to play devil's advocate here, because the limitations are stark. I mean, it lacks native rich media. There are no built-in calendars, no standard due dates.
It's basically just text.
Yeah, and the free tier only allows 250 bullets a month, which, if you are a heavy note taker like me, that goes incredibly fast.
Oh, you'd burn through that in a day.
Seriously, you have to upgrade to the Pro version, which is $4.99 a month or $49 a year, just to get unlimited bullets. It does have a really powerful hashtag search mechanism, but overall, it's just text. So if this tool is so stripped down, why does it still have such a passionate user base in 2026?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, that constraint is actually its strength.
How so?
Because it forces users to think in terms of organic hierarchies and relationships rather than just dumping things into rigid folders.
Oh, I see.
When you don't have all those extra productivity bells and whistles to fiddle with, you can't procrastinate by color coding your calendar.
Guilty as charged.
Right. You are forced to focus purely on the structure of your thoughts. It mirrors how the human brain naturally categorizes information.
Associatively.
Exactly, associatively, moving from broad concepts down to granular details.
And they've been refining this specific philosophy for a really long time. If you look at Jesse Patel's blog post from way back in 2012, they introduced the ability to embed shared lists.
That was a huge deal at the time.
It was. And they had this great little UI detail where embedded collaborative lists showed up with a, quote, special blue aura.
The blue aura, right.
Yeah, so you instantly knew someone else had access to that specific nested thought.
They iterate very, very carefully to remove any friction between having a thought and capturing it. I mean, look at their patch notes from just the first few months of 2026.
They've been busy.
Very. In January, they added cross-tab drag and drop, letting you pull a nested list from one window directly into another.
Oh, that's handy.
And then in February, they rolled out Quick Add for Android and native numbered lists.
And just last week, actually, on March 11, 2026, they launched an email to workflowy feature.
Wait, really? Email to list?
Yeah, you don't even have to open the app. You just shoot an email to a specific address, and it drops right into your designated folder. It is all about speed of capture.
But, and this Savage Reviews video does highlight this, there's a fundamental limitation here.
Complexity issue.
Right. Because the tool is strictly hierarchical text, it eventually buckles under the weight of really complex projects.
Yeah, the moment you try to attach a heavy PDF read, or track a shifting deadline, or visualize a multi-step pipeline in an infinitely nesting bullet list, the illusion breaks.
The system just stops matching the complexity of the project.
Exactly. And that friction, that desperate need to visually connect different types of media and data is what forced users to completely abandon the text list paradigm.
Users needed something more structural. They didn't just want to take notes anymore. They wanted to build their own software without actually knowing how to code.
And that drive brings us to the rise of relational databases, which is perfectly encapsulated by Notion.
Yes. Notion looks at a bulleted list and essentially says, no, what you actually need is a highly visual, interconnected workspace.
To understand the leap here, we have to look at how a relational database functions compared to just a flat list.
It's a totally different mental model.
It really is. In a standard spreadsheet or list, your data is isolated. But in a relational database, you are creating separate buckets of information. Say, a bucket of clients and a completely separate bucket of projects.
And then you're drawing dynamic lines between them.
Right. And looking at tutorials from YouTube creators like Alex Cunningham and Titan, the core mechanic that makes this happen for everyday users is shockingly simple.
The / command.
Yes, you just type a / type database, and you instantly generate an empty table or link to an existing data source anywhere else in your workspace.
And that linked database feature is the mechanism that changes everything. Cunningham actually highlights a really powerful trick in his workflow.
Stacking them, right?
Exactly. He stacks multiple linked databases into a single view.
Right, so you can have a traditional tabular view of your projects right next to a visual Kanban board of your daily tasks.
And maybe below that, a gallery view of your design assets.
Yeah, and they're all pulling from the exact same underlying data pools. Cunningham even suggests deleting the default views entirely.
Oh, so you're starting from scratch.
Yeah, so you are forced to create a customized master dashboard tailored precisely to how your brain wants to see the work.
It's treating the digital workspace as a canvas. And it doesn't even stop at your own internal text. Notion utilizes a service called iFramely to embed the outside web directly into these dashboards.
Yeah, the sources say iFramely supports over 1,900 different domains.
That's massive.
It is. You can drop in live Figma designs, Miro whiteboards, Twitter feeds, interactive Google Maps. It all just lives dynamically inside your Notion page.
So you never really have to open a new tab.
Never. But, okay, I have to push back on this level of hyper-customization for a second.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because I see people spending days tweaking these dashboards, moving columns around, changing emojis, setting up the absolute perfect nested filtered view.
I know exactly where you're going with this.
Right. Is spending all this time building the perfect multi-database dashboard actually productive? Or is it just a really elaborate form of procrastination disguised as work?
Well, it is a highly debated trap called productivity theater.
Productivity theater, that is the perfect term.
Yeah, you feel this immense satisfaction because you are categorizing and organizing things, and your brain is releasing dopamine as if you've accomplished a task.
You haven't actually done the work.
Exactly, you haven't produced any real output. However, the underlying architecture of a relational database is undeniably powerful because it establishes a single source of truth.
Meaning, if I update a client's phone number or project status in my visual Kanban board, it automatically updates in the tabular accounting view, the team directory, and everywhere else that data is linked.
Precisely. That prevents the catastrophic errors that happen in complex projects when, team members are working off outdated spreadsheets.
Which happens all the time.
All the time. But there is a glaring vulnerability to this system. A database is only a single source of truth if the data inside it is actually accurate.
And maintaining that truth requires manual data entry.
Yeah.
You still have to physically type the updates in.
Right.
And when manual data entry fatigue sets in, your beautiful, highly customized dashboard slowly rots into an outdated liability.
Which naturally leads to the next phase of our digital evolution.
Automation.
Exactly. The moment a user gets tired of manually moving a task from in progress to done, they start looking for ways to make the computer do it for them.
We want our tools to talk to each other without us acting as the human middleman constantly copy and pasting data.
We're the bottleneck.
We really are. We want an app like Collected Notes to beam information directly to workflows. We want Notion to talk to our bank. Let's look at Dimitri Panici's YouTube video.
Oh, his webhook breakdown is great.
It is. He dives into Notion webhooks, and he uses a fantastic real-world example to show how this works.
His invoice automation. But to understand this, we probably need to clarify what a webhook actually is for you listening.
Yeah, go for it.
Think of a standard software integration like checking your physical mailbox every hour to see if a letter arrived. It requires constant, inefficient polling.
Right. Are you there? Are you there?
Exactly. A webhook, on the other hand, is like installing a doorbell in that mailbox. The moment an event happens, like an invoice being paid, it actively rings the bell and pushes the information to you.
So Panici sets it up so that simply pressing a status button inside a Notion page instantly triggers a make.com webhook.
It's seamless.
Yeah, and that webhook automatically reaches out to Stripe or PayPal to create, send, or even void an invoice. And the wildest part is that the financial software pings back and updates the Notion status immediately.
Just to reflect whether the payment was successful.
Exactly. You are turning a static database into a fully functional automated application.
But getting to that level of seamless communication often requires overcoming massive technical friction. I mean, the no-code revolution promised that anyone could build these workflows.
The reality is much messier.
Much messier. Just look at the multi-year saga on the Zapier community forum.
Oh man, this forum thread was a deep dive in itself. It stretched from 2023 all the way into late 2024.
Zapier is widely considered the giant in the consumer automation space.
Yeah, everybody uses it. But it had this persistent, glaring limitation. Natively, its standard integration could not update those Notion relation properties we just talked about.
Right. To put that in context, imagine you have a submissions database capturing form entries from your website and a separate countries database.
Okay.
Zapier could easily pull in the new submission text, but it completely failed at automatically linking that new submission to the correct country profile in the relational database.
So the core feature of Notion, its relational structure, was just broken in the automation.
Exactly.
Well, here's where it gets really interesting. Users didn't just accept that limitation. A Notion expert named William Nutt stepped in and shared a workaround that completely shattered the whole no-code illusion.
He had to get his hands dirty.
He really did. He used a code by Zapier step to write custom JavaScript.
Wait, he wrote custom code inside Zapier?
Yes. He was manually writing code to make a direct PNECH request to the Notion API, specifically targeting the api.notion.com/v1/pages endpoint.
Wow. To understand the mechanics of what he was doing, think of a web API as a digital drive-through window.
Okay, I like that.
William Nutt realized the native Zapier app wasn't giving him the menu options he needed to connect the databases.
Right.
So he wrote custom code to bypass the menu entirely, handing the Notion server a highly specific digital instruction manual called a JSON payload.
And you had to pair that payload with a secret password, an internal integration token passed in the authorization header, just to force these two databases to shake hands.
It's intense.
It's like finding out the factory settings on your car are limiting your speed, so you just pop the hood, grab a soldering iron, and rewrite the engine's computer chip yourself.
What's fascinating here is what this reveals about user behavior. As these productivity tools become the central nervous system of our workflows, standard out-of-the-box integrations simply aren't enough.
People want more.
Power users demand absolute seamless communication between apps, and they're willing to learn raw code to source the happening.
And it isn't just a few rogue individuals doing this either. The sources mention business-grade triggers, like using Zapier to trigger approve-it workflows, using specific API and workflow keys.
So whole companies are doing this.
Exactly. Entire enterprise operations are relying on these complex, custom-coded digital bridges just to keep their businesses running.
But those coded bridges are notoriously, terrifyingly fragile. I mean, look at the troubleshooting required just for that Notion workaround in the forums.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
A user named Digidoc Aurora was tearing their hair out over a workflow collapsing due to a single syntax error.
Just one error.
Just one. It was caused by how a bearer token, with the $sign was formatted in the code.
Yeah, and another user, Jabadot, was getting a cryptic 404 error. After hours of debugging, they realized the integration token was connected to a subpage instead of the parent page.
It's so finicky.
One misplaced bracket, one expired security token, or one minor update to an API endpoint by the developer, and your entire automated corporate workflow grinds to a catastrophic halt.
Which forces a reckoning, doesn't it? Writing custom JavaScript and mapping fragile webhooks is just too brittle.
Way too brittle.
What if you didn't need to hard code the instructions? What if the system was intelligent enough to simply read your intent, figure out the API endpoints itself, and execute the tools for you?
Well, welcome to the present day.
Exactly.
Which brings us to exactly today, Tuesday, March 17, 2026. To see just how massive the shift has been from hard-coded automation to autonomous agents, we looked at a GitHub repository called Awesome GitHub Projects.
Curated by Victor Bezdek, right?
Yes, curated by a user named Victor Bezdek. Out of 4,718 starred projects in his repository, a massive 618 are dedicated purely to AI and machine learning.
It is the dominant category by a wide margin, and the specific capabilities of these projects tell us exactly where the bleeding edge of technology is right now.
We aren't looking at chatbots that just generate text anymore.
No, not at all.
He's starring projects like AutoGPT, OpenClaw, and browser use, which is literally a tool that automates complex tasks online by taking control of a web browser and just clicking around for you.
It's wild to watch.
It is. There's also UiTars, which directly connects cutting-edge AI models to agent infrastructure. But the critical new concept appearing across all these sources, the real key that unlocks this whole era, is MCP.
The Model Context Protocol.
Yes, the Model Context Protocol.
MCP is the technical breakthrough we've been waiting for. If Zapier workarounds were bespoke, fragile bridges built out of custom JavaScript, MCP is a standardized universal plug-and-play for.
A universal translator almost.
Exactly. It provides an open standard for an AI agent to securely access your local data and external tools without needing custom code for every single app.
And it is suddenly everywhere. Looking at Notion's own API documentation today, they explicitly feature Notion MCP.
So Notion is fully on board.
Fully on board. This is designed to connect your entire workspace directly to AI tools like Claude, ChatGPT, and coding assistants like Cursor.
It allows these AIs to just read your databases and execute agentic workflows organically.
And GitHub repo is full of them. There's Google_workspace_MCP, which gives an AI the ability to control your Gmail and Google Drive.
Wow.
And Supabase-MCP for direct autonomous database access.
And we are seeing enterprise-level infrastructure fundamentally rewrite its architecture to accommodate this. Take the Ultra Server APIs V3. They are introducing highly specific execution modes, things like safe, semi-safe, and standard modes, and utilizing flags like bypass workflow version check.
That sounds intense.
It is. They are building the safety rails required to let complex AI workflows push changes directly into enterprise service.
So this raises a huge, almost existential question. Okay, let's hear it. If MCPs act as this universal translator, allowing AI agents to naturally read my Notion databases, check my nested workflowy lists, and trigger my financial webhooks automatically, what exactly is my job?
That is the question.
Am I moving from being a user of software to simply a manager of AI agents?
This raises an important question, perhaps the defining question of 2026. If we look back at the journey we've just discussed, we started by simply storing text in Workflowy to clear our minds.
Right.
Then we moved to structuring complex relational data in Notion to build our own software.
Yep.
Then we hacked together hard-coded action bridges in Zapier because we were tired of manual data entry.
The William Nutt workaround.
Exactly. And now, we are deploying AI agents that navigate those structures autonomously using MCPs. The paradigm has completely shifted. You are no longer the operator of the machine.
So what am I?
You are the orchestrator of the intelligence.
Wow. So I am just telling the agent the final goal, and it is using using my Notion database as its memory bank and my webhooks as its hands to interact with the world.
Exactly. The AI is doing the heavy lifting, but it relies entirely on the architecture you've built. When autonomous agents have full access to our digital lives, when they are reading our emails, summarizing our meetings, and triggering our client invoices, the way we organize our data isn't just about our own personal productivity anymore.
It's so much bigger than that.
You are programming the environment for your digital proxy.
So what does this all mean? We have traced the evolution of the digital brain today. We started with a minimalist, infinite nesting of a workflowy bullet list, proving that constraint can really fuel focus.
A great starting point.
And we explored the power of relational databases in Notion, where users build highly visual master dashboards to create a single source of truth.
Even if it led to a bit of productivity theater.
Right, exactly. Then we popped the hood on the no-code illusion, watching users write custom JavaScript to force Zapier to connect complex workflows.
The fragile bridges.
And now, we've arrived at a reality where model context protocols give AI agents the standardized access they need to just drive our digital workspaces for us.
It is a continuous, accelerating evolution of how we externalize our cognition. We have spent the last 14 years building better, more complex digital filing cabinets, so our actual biological brains can focus on higher-level problem solving.
And the beauty of this evolution is that whether you are a minimalist who just wants a clean, distraction-free bulleted list, or a hyper-organized tech enthusiast writing custom webhooks to process corporate payments, the tools finally exist to match your specific brain wiring.
You really have the power to build the exact digital brain you need.
But with that immense power comes a very new, very modern responsibility.
It absolutely does.
Which is why we want to leave you with a final thought to mull over today. As model context protocols become the standard, your customized Notion database or your infinitely nested workflowy list isn't just a place for you to read your notes anymore.
No, it's actively becoming a training manual and a memory bank for your personal AI.
That AI agent is going to read everything you write. It is going to learn how you prioritize tasks based on exactly how you can.
It will adopt your organizational logic, for better or worse.
So if your AI learns how to work entirely by reading your notes and following your structure, what bad habits or what chaotic organization are you accidentally teaching it right now?
It's a scary thought.
It is. Because if your physical desk was a disaster zone, you were the only one who had to deal with consequences of a lost paper. But if your digital filing cabinet is a mess today, your AI agent is going to inherit that exact same chaos and automate it at lightning speed.
It's a sobering realization. You aren't just organizing for yourself anymore.
No, you are onboarding your replacement. Until next time.